Hi, I'm Hazel. It's almost Saturday today, and that makes it time to sit down and catch up on the WoW news of the week, what I've been up to, and answer some of your questions. Before we get into the WoW news, I would like to briefly touch on a larger piece of Blizzard news that has come out this week. Blizzard came under fire this week for banning a Hearthstone player and revoking his tournament winnings after he expressed support for the Hong Kong protests in his post-win interview. It's been a big week for that kind of thing, with both the NBA and Apple also having similar controversies rooted in a concern that China is exercising its influence in the global market to enforce its political agenda outside of its borders. The Blizzard situation in particular has been very messy over the past few days, and it's now gotten so big to the point that it's being used by a variety of people to drive a variety of agendas in addition to the Hong Kong democracy movement. I don't plan on discussing this much further on my channel, not because it's not important, but just to try to keep this as a space where people can get some distance from the emotional toxicity and inflammatory nature of a lot of these political conversations, which can sometimes feel overwhelming. This does not mean that I agree with Blizzard's decision, and this does not mean that I support the Chinese government. Regardless of what they do at this point, I think it's safe to say that BlizzCon is going to be interesting, and that's only 21 days away, so that'll be fun. Hi, Editing Hazel here, and I wanted to really quickly tack on and clarify a few more points to this. I am still planning on going to BlizzCon. I am still planning to cover 8.3 news and continue to make WoW videos going forward. I do not endorse their decision, and Taliesin and Evitel actually put out a very good video on the whole situation this morning that I will link below. He put into words a few concepts that I was really struggling to, specifically about wanting to improve society while still also having to participate in society, and how deep the rabbit hole goes when you do try to boycott everything that has an ethical underpinning that you don't agree with. I know it's a bit of a cop-out to just say what they said, but he really did it much better, so I will link that below. Anybody looking for further conversation on the topic, that seems like a good place for it. In WoW news, it was a massive week for WoW news, with patch 8.3 being surprise announced by Blizzard just dropping a video on their YouTube channel with Ian talking through basically everything that's coming in patch 8.3. It was a long video, there's a lot in it, and it is baffling that they just decided to chuck that out 3 weeks before BlizzCon as opposed to holding it for the BlizzCon stage, which, as I mentioned in my reaction, leads you to believe that as far as WoW expansion announcement news, they probably have something really juicy for BlizzCon. As far as the key features and content, it is a big list. Top of that list are confirmed new allied races, Mechanomes, and Volpera. We're getting a Nealatha raid with raid testing beginning on Friday. We are getting a new pet battle dungeon. That actually didn't make it into their announcement video, but was in the notes that they posted in a blue post later on. There's going to be a Blackrock Depths pet battle dungeon. They're going to be updating the Deepwind Gorge battleground and converting it to a capture point map. They're going to be, of course, new story stuff. There's going to be a full auction house rework and just a bunch more. It was just a massive announcement. And again, so weird, so close to BlizzCon, which makes you think that they're not dragging their feet on getting this out. I would expect to see it out before Christmas, which is unusual for them, just given how busy the BlizzCon season is and how little time they have after BlizzCon and before people start to go away for holidays. So they're going. And my life this past week and this next week and the next couple of weeks is basically just going to be doing my best to keep up with patch 8.3 coverage while preparing for BlizzCon. And questions for this week. Cool Kimchi asks, with the new content announcements, will you be changing your main to a Mechanome Priest? And your thoughts on the new auction house system. So the Mechanome thing, probably not, and I'll tell you why. They can't have pink hair. I can get over the weird sleevelessness and leglessness of armor on them. You know, I actually really like their hairstyles. I'm not against the concept of them, but they only get natural hair colors, and I feel more strongly about having my salmon pink hair than I thought I did, so I don't think I'm going to be changing my gnome. I do think I'm definitely going to need a Mechanome alt and probably a Volpera alt, because I just like to collect allied race alts like dolls. As far as the auction house rework, I am initially very excited because it is so desperately needed, but the selfish side of me is slightly worried. I'm sure it's all going to be fine, and even if it's not, it doesn't matter because it's fake nerd money, but as the current system, broken as it is, has benefited me very well over the past couple of expansions. And change is scary when you are already doing fine. So I am interested to see how it affects the market and the power users. And just in case, I'm trying to like work through the rest of the gold sync goals that I have. I picked up all of the 72k Alliance rep mounts, and I'm just working on the last 2 frogs, and then I think I'll be caught up for the expansion. I've just been like going ham on jelly farming and enchant selling before the patch, just in case I am somehow incapable of making gold after. I'm sure it'll be fine, but I'm not so sure that I'm not also farming jelly. Bayless asks, do you do Mythic Plus as well? You never talk about these. So I do enjoy the occasional Mythic Plus, but I am not a leader, so I don't really initiate them. I am lucky to be a member of a guild that has a dedicated group that pushes keys and runs Mythic Plus and makes an effort to get everybody through at least their 10 key for the week. So for the most part, I just get looped into one of those runs during the week. It's always an awesome time, and I just really like the experience of running Mythic Plus as long as I don't have to pug them. A main motivator in why I've been leveling this Dark Iron Dwarf Mistweaver Monk is specifically because I feel like Mistweaver looks like a very fun spec to play in Mythic Plus, and if I did want to brave the, you know, Raider.io Mythic Plus pug chasm, then I feel like being a healer might be a better place to start. It might be easier to find groups. I'll find out. And Belia asks, Hazel, what is the time frame for you guys to buy a house? Is it in the next few months or in the next year? I'm really excited for you, especially when I listen to all the cool plans you have after you bought it. So I am hoping to become a homeowner one day, but as it turns out, hoping doesn't do much. Buying a home is something that neither my husband and I have ever done. It is scary and a giant commitment and very expensive and also very foreign and unfamiliar to us. So true to nature, we're procrastinating. The other things that make it difficult are the unreliability of my income and the fact that I can't, because it's unstable and fluctuates a lot, and really only became a thing in the last like year or two. I can't show like 3 years of pay stubs, of consistent pay stubs to a mortgage lender. So it's just, the whole thing's a little complicated and uncomfortable, but it is something I would like to do within the next 3 years. But, you know, I would like to do a lot of things, so I guess we'll see. And that has been my week. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you have a question you would like me to answer on one of these videos, please leave it in the comments of the most recent one and include the word question. Let me know what you think and have a wonderful, wonderful day.